not or as slowly or not at all, and we can even descend in consciousness. Now, I believe that consciousness is not only the awareness of my own existence, but when you expand your consciousness, and I know you'll probably agree with this, that you suddenly become aware of others outside of yourself, right? And you have as much compassion and concern for others as you do yourself. That's when you start to see the oneness, right, of the world. And so that told me in my meditation experiences that consciousness is really linked to propagating outward and engulfing all of humanity and all of reality, and that we can therefore have effect on other individuals. And then it's not much of a leap to take it from that to events, and then change outcomes that are expected, such as the pig flu, right? I believe that's government created, and then they use the media to propagate the myth so that it will actually take hold in humanity. But what they need the CIA or whatever to go around the country and to instigate these sorts of viral infections, but it will not take unless we accept it. And so that is where the media plays this role of propagating the desired outcome, which is the boogeyman's going to get you, the boogeyman's going to get you. And here comes the boogeyman. When we get back, I'll pick up right there. For over 49 years, I have never had anybody try to tread on me physically, but that's not my strength, folks. Even though I'm 6'6", 360, my strength is my spiritual strength, and that is all about consciousness. Jeff, we were talking about consciousness, and if you don't mind, I'd like to continue my thoughts about how I discovered this, and I hope I don't hog the whole segment, because I would like to get your response. And I also want to mention UFOs, because Joel the K has brought up UFOs. I've done this one other time on the show about UFOs, how I think they came into existence. But here it is. I was up in Montana the first time I started to realize my ability to alter reality. And my truck had broke down a couple of miles from our straw bale house out in the middle of nowhere on the mountainside, and it forced us to walk home at dusk. And so we get home, and I'm kind of bummed out and everything, and so I have to wait till the next morning. I grab a bunch of tools, put them in a sack, and I hike down the mountain, and there's my truck. So I go up to it, and I know a little bit about mechanical stuff. I used to drag race when I was younger, and so I've pulled a few motors and put a few motors in, and so I know my way around the wrenches. And I got up there, and the battery was completely dead. And I worked on this for 30 minutes, and the battery was just completely dead. And I got out of the truck, and I walked in front of it. Now, I did not touch anything. I had already tried the cables and all sorts of stuff. And I just stood there looking at it, and you don't understand, folks, of what a predicament we were in. I needed to go in the next day and get this job at a laundromat. A former CEO is now, hoping to get a job at the laundromat at a Motel 6. Yep, that's my life. And I'm standing there looking at my old pickup truck, and I just in an instant, it was a moment, I just said, no, this is not real. And I got angry. And I went up and I closed the hood and I walked around. I opened the door, got in, And without thinking, I didn't see anything. I just close the hood. I'm in the truck. I turn the key. It starts. I put it in first gear, and I'm driving. And I don't even realize what had happened until I was, going down the road about 10 seconds later. And I realized that I had just altered reality. Now, I'd had in my youth some traumatic experiences of the similar sort, but I didn't understand it at that moment. So that was my first inclination. I started playing around with altering reality, and then when I moved or transferred over here to Kansas about a decade ago, this is a little uncomfortable, but I went to the restroom in Newton, Kansas, and right outside our window, folks, was this big old cottonwood tree. And it was the middle of summer, probably June, and I'm looking at it, and I've got time on my hands. And so I noticed that there was this one clump of leaves, about 30 leaves maybe, that was centered exactly in the middle of the frame of the window. And I just noticed them, and then day after day when I went in there to do my business, I would just look at this clump of leaves. Now, I started to just kind of communicate goodwill to them and just tell them, hey, grow and flourish and be healthy, but just that particular clump of leaves. Now, time went on, and here comes fall, and I'm doing this each and every day, and it occurred to me about a couple of weeks into this of what I could do with it. I could prove that I could alter nature with my consciousness. So what happened is fall comes, folks. The entire cottonwood tree turns yellow except my clump of leaves. They are vibrant and they're green. And then, a couple of weeks later, they turn brown, everything except my clump of leaves. A couple of weeks later, all the leaves are gone. There's not a green leaf in the neighborhood anywhere. And hardly any leaves on any trees, even in brown, but there was my clump of green leaves, right square in the middle of that bathroom window. And I continued to just every day wish and project them to be healthy and prosper and grow. And I know this sounds all crazy to a lot of you out there, but I want to tell you, I swear on my own soul that this is a very true story. And I take it through the winter. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We have a cold winter, as usual, in Kansas. We have snow. And it never phased my leaves. Not one leaf fell off. Not one of them turned color. They always stayed green. We go around clear till early spring, and the rest of the tree started to bud. And then a little bit later, the leaves started to come out. They were probably a half inch long. And I went and I got my wife and I drug her into the bathroom and I had her sit on the toilet and I said, look out there. Do you see anything unusual? And she goes, well, yeah. And I go, when did you notice those leaves? And she goes, well, I noticed them in the winter time, but I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to think about them, which made me kind of angry that she didn't just speak up. But I was able to keep them green and vibrant throughout the entire winter, the fall, the winter, and now the spring. Now, I want to tell you, the very next day I went in there and I, doing my business once again, and I told the leaves that they had done their job. They had proved to me that we had an interaction, and that's all this experiment was about. And I thanked them, and I told them they could go ahead and complete their cycle. And the very next day, not one green leaf was left on that tree. They had all fallen down to the ground, and it was a spectacular aha moment for me in life. And I have been doing experiments like that for 10 years and beyond that. I've done grander experiments, but from that I have confirmed to myself that all of us are doing that, and that's why I keep bringing to you folks that you are responsible for your own life and all the experiences you are bringing into it. If you think down deep poorly about yourself, you are going to get that. And if you are not consciously choosing and directing your life, what happens is an automatic takeover takes place